That was a slow startup with YouTube this morning, is slowly getting going. Hey, peace be with all of you. And I'm gonna say what Jesus said once. This may be a surprise to you. Peace be with all of you. Take my peace into yourselves, said Jesus in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And welcome to Not Church on our second Easter anniversary. Thanks to all who comment, connect, center, and converse with our growing community. I'm Peter Panagore, MDiv, today within you and outside you from the Gospels of Mary Magdalene, Thomas, Luke, and Matthew, or as Glinda the Good Witch once said to Dorothy at the end of her hero's journey, "You've always had the power, my dear. You just had to learn it for yourself." Today is Easter in the Western tradition. So happy Easter, everybody. Easter in the Eastern tradition is next Sunday. There is no single one Easter day in Christianity. Every day is Resurrection Day for hearts alive in light. Mysticism with a Christian accent is spoken here. Mysticism is a global human phenomenon. It's not just the purview of Christianity. Today, it's the popular Easter, but instead of discussing the resurrection of Jesus, I want to talk to you about your resurrection, about the light that is you and is within you and surrounds you, and how, once illuminated inside, you become a lamp to lead others home and yourself home. You become the lamp itself. So much of the world lives in deep darkness. 2,000 years after the love teacher taught and died and rose, 2.4 million years after Homo habilis, the handy human, and still humanity's inhumanity is evident all around the earth. Whew. Fortunately, and hopefully, just in the nick of time, we're hearing from thousands of international voices of near-death experiencers on YouTube talking about the dominion of love that awaits us all. Quote, "All that is born, all that is created, all the elements of nature are interwoven and united with each other. The essence of matter, love, and consciousness returns to the source of consciousness, meaning that the beloved awaits us all. We will return to our roots. Let those who have ears hear." End quote from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Let those who have ears hear. Let those who can hear with your heart hear. Let's listen to the ear of our hearts. Let's listen with the ear of our hearts. Let's listen from the sound that arises in the ear of our hearts by opening ourselves in our inner ear. And we do this each week just to gather ourselves together a little bit in our meditative life so that we become a stronger community in the now. Because as Jesus taught, where two or three are gathered, I am. The I am who I am is there with us. So begin with 3 ohms and then drop into some meditation of centering prayer. And if you're just joining us, centering prayer is a prayer riding on your breath with mental focus, basically. There's links below that can help you understand. Let's just begin. Today, within you and outside you, Thomas Logia 3, Mary page 8, Luke 17, Matthew 5. Starting in Thomas, in Logia 3, Jesus says, if those who lead you, I got disconnected. Isn't that just peachy? There we go. Let's begin again. Take it from the top. Starting in Logia 3 in Thomas. Oh, it has just given me trouble today. All right, so we're going from the teleprompter to the iPad. Here we go. In Logia 3, third time's a charm. If those who lead you say to you, look, the beloved's realm is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it's in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the domain, with a capital D, rather the domain is inside you and outside of you. It's inside of you and outside of you. Everywhere, in everything, all the time, including you and me. And the word is panentheism, with an E-N in the middle of the pan. Love that, Peter Pan. Panentheism. And that means that all matter, all material, including you and me, and everything there is a manifestation of the unmanifested, with a capital U, the unlimited. All matter is a manifestation of light hidden from human eyes by virtue of the veil. Why the veil? Why is there a veil? It's the wrong question to ask. The question is how to see inside, like seeing the outside and the inside as the same. How to see that the outside and the inside are the same is a better question to ask than trying to ask, why is there a veil? I can't see through it. Jesus tells us how to turn on the light. If you want to see the outside light, it's easier to first seek the inside light, where it's concentrated inside of you, giving you life and is actually the truest you, the highest you, the real and true self. Light hidden within you. I see it here because I've seen it in heaven, because it was shown to me as a gift, not my own will. And that's what I discovered. Not my will be done. God's will be done. Inside of my prayer life, aiming at the light. Heaven is within you. Luke 17. You are the light of the world. Matthew 5. When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known. And you will realize that you are the children of the living birth parent, of the progenitor, of the father, of the mother. When you know yourself, you will know that you are known, and you will realize that you are the children of the living God. This is the message of near-death experience, that all of us are the children of the living God. Far beyond expression, that single word God, light, love, beloved, Huvier Vuvier, the I am, the crystal river, the divine self, the unknowable, unspeakable, abundant love, 10,000 names. You are a child of the living light, Thomas says in Logia 3. And coming to know true and higher selves, we come to know we are known by the knower and understand who mama is, who daddy is, and who your single birth parent is. Know yourself. Know your light. Be known as you see the light. And as you see the light, you get known. Who gets to see? Why do some see and others not? I don't know. Those who seek the beloved will find the beloved, says Thomas. Those who seek the beloved will find the beloved. Logia 3. Seek and you will find. But if you will not know yourselves, you will dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. Thomas, Logia 3. The poverty of yourself is the material nature. It's not negative, it's just hard. If you know yourselves, if you come to understand what the risen Christ, the one everybody's celebrating, not everybody, because there's 2 Christian Easters, but many people are celebrating today, the light risen itself. When this dwells inside of us and lives inside of us, our poverty is eliminated in abundance. We dwell in the material world, and we are the material world in our bodies. When we know or taste the abundance, the veil of poverty gets lifted. When we see this inside ourselves, alive and living in us, shared among us, grounding our being, making us live more fully in the world in a more able way in the suffering that we encounter through the light itself, then the veil gets lifted. And we see that there is abundance everywhere. I promise you this from my own journeys into heaven. If not in this life, then in the next. Because none of us avoids the fullness that awaits us when we're stripped of our confinement in this duality. In this certitude, I tell you, in the next, after death's door opens for you, after you die, as Jesus died, you too will find what he found on the other side and came back to tell us about. Heaven awaits you. This hope alone, if this hope alone becomes your aim, if your mystical experience isn't enough to give you the strength to carry on, this hope can. Because this hope is also part of the divine abundant love. When the hope springs alive inside you, it opens the chamber of the interior life and allows the light to enter in. Cling to that if you have nothing else to cling to. The seeker will see the brightest of lights. I promise you this. When the inner door opens at your last, your resurrection awaits you. And you will move in a continuum, in a continuation from light here in this world to light there and the world above. In the light above, in the abundance of love above. Now, I see 1/10 of 100th of a millionth of the light here that awaits us there. There is more and more than you can imagine. Seeker, seek. You may mourn that you cannot see it or feel it or felt it once and want it again. And I know that longing. Maybe you've never experienced it here, like some have. But I promise you, the light, the Huvier Vuvier, the breath of the divine being, the crystal river, I promise you, they await us all. And if there's a hope in the message of the risen Christ, it is this, that death has no sting, that death does not have victory, that death is an opening to light, And that light, we can see it here if we seek it here and gather together in groups. Then Jesus greeted them, saying, "Peace be with you all. Take my peace into yourselves. I tell you that the flow of peace is within you all. Seek diligently and earnestly. Surely the one who seeks finds." The Gospel of Mary. The flow of peace. We've talked about the flow of peace here, and there it is in the Gospel of Mary. The flow of peace, accept the flow of peace. The only one standing in the way between me and God is me. Hence my practice of centering prayer. Hence the more intense, more powerful practice of Kriya Yoga in Hatha movement or Ashtanga movement or Iyengar movement. Kriya Yoga inside the physical practice of yoga. Eliminates self. Illuminates self by getting out of the way, allowing the flow of peace to flow with less impediment. If you've ever seen a rapidy river full of rocks and the tumbling, stumbling water that flows in a white flow and foam and narrow channels, remove the stones one by one and the flow becomes smooth. The practice of Kriya, the practice of centering prayer, the elimination of self in any form or practice picks stone by stone from the river of flow and allows the peace to go. Go in a flow. In the Gospel of Mary, Jesus says, I give you my peace. Accept the flow of peace. To see the light outside, it really is best to look inside. Seek it and see it within here because you are a carrier of it. Your resurrection lies inside yourself in the light itself, pre-existent, always present, your goodness at your very core, the golden fleck of light of God, ineffable, unspeakable, beloved Adonai, the flow of the river of crystal of all life. This is what is inside you. Seek it in here where it has easy access. And then the burdens of life, the suffering that we all encounter in life, the difficulties in life, the darknesses of humanity's inhumanity will be lighter to carry because your inner eye is focused on heaven's light within. Lighter to carry in weight because photons have no mass. They weigh nothing and illuminate everything. Don't take my word for it. I'm not here to try to convince anyone of anything. My job is not to convince, to make you a believer or to help you find your path. Well, it is that. But I'm not here to try to tell you what to do. I'm merely here to try to show the light and let you find it inside yourself. So don't take my word for it. Seek it for yourself. Seek this energetic flow of peace that Jesus, the light of the world, came to tell us about and is testified to in so many documents that were so important that they were hidden for thousands of years, buried in the ground, and others venerated from sanctuaries, even if they're misunderstood. The teacher Jesus is my main teacher. I have other teachers. This is true. But the illumination that comes in the Christian tradition, even and especially when there are two Easters, and that these two bodies formerly fought each other with great wars, that inside of them is the divine light. And if you go with me on a journey, maybe until next Easter, whichever one it is, may this path you take with not church be fruitful for you. May it show you yourself. May you find in it the divine presence, the Holy Spirit, the Paraclete left behind, always present. This light lives inside us evermore. Happy Easter. Happy resurrection. Happy your resurrection. It starts here and now. Thanks for your support. I couldn't do this without you. I've been here for 2 years because of your generosity and your charity. You can visit peterpanagore.love. Thanks for supporting Not Church and Mystic Tea Salon, which is coming up next at the top of the hour. I just looked down at my clock, got about 35 minutes. Mystic Tea Salon is a gathering, an experiment, another experiment. Not Church is an experiment. Mystic Tea Salon is an experiment of providing a forum for mystical experiences from around the world who have been transported, a safe place to discuss and converse about their mystical experiences without judgment. In the spirit of the true experiencer of the divine, in compassion, in humility, and in kindness. The link is below. Thank you, Mary S., for the super chat. I do appreciate your support here in YouTube and elsewhere as well. Thank you. All right, so of course, tomorrow we have Centering Prayer Practice. We try to give you a glimpse of your own illumination there, and that's also on this channel. Your gifts of any size and every size really do keep me going. It's PayPal and Patreon. I tend to, ask for support because I have to. Now, if you want to speak with me personally, you have a spiritual question or a meditation question, you're quite welcome to have a conversation with me, or you want to look over your spirituality, or you've had a mystical experience that you're not quite sure what to do with, or a spiritual experience that has transformed you and you're not quite sure what to do with. I'm available for conversation. I've had 40 years of pastoral experience and 40 years of mystical post-near-death experience life and a lifetime of the divine presence. Thank you, Susie. Happy Easter to you too. Thank you very much, Susie. I'm going to go over to take a look at, hey, everybody, 99 folks here this morning. I'm going to take a look at the chat. I'm going to skim back up. I saw a question down there below I'd like to take a look at about the resurrection, but let me go back up to good morning, Mary. Hey, Helen, Carmen, Sue, Quiet Energy, Trisha, Gem Colors, Magic Cat, Green Goddess, Suzanne, sorry about that. Suzanne, Michelle, PL, Angel, Brother Ed, hey, Brother Ed, Susie, Vineyard Working, Vineyard Worker, beep, beep. Kathy, I invite divine will. Inviting the divine will is thy will be done. That's what that whole prayer is all about. Thy will be done on earth, in me, as it is in heaven. That's what centering prayer does. That's what it does. The stepping aside of self, the picking the stones from the river of life, and allowing the flow to be peace inside yourself, even in the midst of trouble. So I read some comments on a video that I did for IANS, and someone said, why are NDEers only ever talking about love? They never talk about the hard stuff. Well, I do talk about the hard stuff. I just didn't do it there. The hard stuff is where we live. It's where we live. And how we live inside of it is we invite the divine will to be our guide. It's really pretty simple. And I'm going to skim down here and say thank you, Logan, and thank you, Rebecca. Thank you both. Thank you both. Becky in Australia and Logan in the United States. I think you are. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Just Jeannie. Jean or Jeannie? God bless you too. I'm going to keep skimming back up, and I'll skim down to the bottom too, I promise. I have enough time today. Robert, we must do our best to traverse the narrow path after this incarnation is imperative, as I fear both the veil and the physical life to come next. Otherwise, we do not want to be reincarnated again. No, I don't want to be reincarnated again. But, we do the best we can. We strive and we aim, and fear not, for love is abundant. And if you aim at the love itself, that's what we get, even in our current incarnations. And the more we aim at the love now, the more light we carry with us when we go home, the easier it is to see the light on the other side. And why did I get a little Irish accent there? I really don't know. So I never wanted to get reincarnated again, Robert. I'm like, after my first near-death experience, I'm like, I am done with this effing place. I am not coming back here. I said that as I prayed every day. God, take me home. I don't want to come back here. God, it's time for my death. God, please let me die today. Suicidality for 20 years till 2015. And until I died again, it chose twice to come back again, because I finally figured out, and I don't know why it took me so long to like get the message. I guess I got cotton in my soul ear, I guess maybe. I used to say, I don't ever want to get reincarnated again, but what if you can gather enough light in a lifetime and gather more in the afterlife and come back here and be a brighter light for everyone to see, like a bodhisattva, like an avatar? Wouldn't that be grand? Not grand like, look at me, I am the light of the world. No, what I mean is grand as in being a channel of the divine light to flow inside the world, and even maybe keep it a secret from yourself. I mean, that happens too. There are plenty of divine light bearers and carriers in the world who have no idea that that's what they're doing. And maybe it's better that way. But imagine reincarnating with more and more light. Jesus came with all of this light. He did not think, how does this phrase goes? The light was something to be grasped. He ungrasped it and descended into the world. He knew himself previously. He knew that he existed previously. He ungrappled himself from the divine light and carried more light into the world. He incarnated. I don't want to reincarnate either. Not really. Unless, and I know this is ridiculous, that I'm going to well, I think I'm going to negotiate with God. I think I'm going to look over that contract. I'm going to bring in my soul lawyer, and I'm going to see whether I can set it up so I can be a bodhisattva next time. And if not, then I refuse to come. No, I won't be going. Thank you. I don't know if it works that way. But if it does, I guess I wouldn't mind coming back again. I never thought I would think that, but when the eternal nature of the divine being is more fully revealed than the understanding of infinity inside myself and divine light, everlasting and always abundant love, and the destination of eternal unmanifested home awaits me, then everything's kind of okay. It's kind of all right. So I say that knowing the difficulty of finding the light here. I know that I have an extra dose, okay? And I didn't earn it. I didn't earn it in this lifetime. Let's put it that way. I didn't earn it in this life. Did I ever earn it? It was like I was out there with my shovel digging my own hole. I've definitely been doing that on my interior. But is this the and that's really, I think I'm going to go right down that metaphor. That's really what I think that Jesus was trying to tell us is if you want to reduce your reincarnations, dig this hole inside yourself and let the light flow in peace into you. That's what seeking is. Um, Living in the world is pretty hard. It is definitely full of horrid suffering. And I find that the burden of life becomes more manageable inside the light itself. It doesn't eliminate the burden, it makes it lighter. Ligther, as in illumination, as in not heavy. Hey, yeah, I wish we had not just a like option, but a love one. Oh, thank you, Helen. Love you all. Heart this program. Thank you, Tim. Heart you too. Love has so much wealth and strength in the spirit kingdom, says Robert. Robert's a near-death experiencer. He's deep into the Gospel of Thomas. Yes, absolutely. Love has such wealth and strength in the spirit community, in the spirit kingdom. The love option, I like that, Helen, says Carmen. Peter, you are a shining beacon that allows me to find my own so much more easily, says Christian. This is exactly what I'm trying to do. You don't need me. That's the thing. I am trying to work myself out of a job. That's my goal. I know that I have an endpoint in my life when I'm not sure, but I know that I have an endpoint and then my job is over. And in the meanwhile, if you can find the light inside yourself, if I can help you make it easier to find it inside you, then you have it always with you. Once you have it always with you, you need nothing outside of you. It's living in there. And the more you tend this fire, I got a candle going today. It's my Paschal candle today. It's the more you tend this fire, the greater the fire becomes. The greater the fire becomes, the more the self is consumed. The more the self is consumed, the greater the fire becomes. It's like this circle that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But my job here is to try to help you do that. And I'm glad that you think I am, because that's what I want to do, Kristen. I want to help you, everyone, as many as possible, find this inside themselves so that their living in the world can be easier, so that their living toward death can be easier, so that when death's door opens, that's going to be easier. And so that when you meet the divine self, you'll be able to see and hear the love that awaits you with ease. It's all connected. It's all one thing. Rebecca, happy Easter back to you. Tiffany liked read the Gospel of Thomas so many times it becomes a mental reference every day, as well as it will serve you in the spirit kingdom as well. Sure, that is a form of Lectio Divina, I would think. Lectio Divina is the practice of reading scripture in the monastic setting and contemplating it, thinking it over, thinking it through, letting it live inside you. And the Gospel of Thomas is a great book to read again and again and again. I found my old copy. It was up in the attic. I went looking for this E. E. Cummings book I mentioned. I got my 1959 copy here. There are other translations online. If you're going to read the Gospel of Thomas, if you're going to read any gospel, you should read other translations, many translations. I always do lexicon studies, which is the study of individual words in the original language, but I also do comparative studies between gospel and gospel, and like one translation of Mark and another translation of Mark, or also between one translation of Mark and another translation of Matthew, all that kind of stuff. But Thomas, there are other translations of Thomas, and the Gnostic Gospels. I think I put a link in below. I think there's a link for the Gospel of Mary below, and it's probable that if you follow the Gnostic link, that you'll be able to find the Gospel of Thomas there as well. Anyway, is resurrected being the same thing as being awakened? I think so, but I think it's more than that. I think that Jesus was awakened and enlightened before he died. And the resurrection is sort of like that on I don't want to say steroids because that's not a good thing. Nobody likes being on steroids. It's that's not quite true. There are people who do take them. I don't know if they should like them or not. Okay, I'm going to get in a quandary there. The Gospel of Resurrection. There we are. We're back to resurrection again. When I was dead, I was resurrected. I wasn't I came back from death. Okay, my coming back from the dead is not a resurrection like Jesus is coming back from the dead, or maybe it is, but he ascended. I have not. In 40 days, I did not ascend. I'm still here 40 years later, and I don't have holes in my hands, and I can't just. Although I have had appearances, kind of things, but not like him. Okay. My real resurrection came after death. That's my evolution. People talk about evolving spiritually. The real evolution of spirituality is the stripping away not only of the ego, but of the entire body, of the brain itself, of the release from the body. And then you find yourself resurrected, returned to life. Not life here, but life with a capital L, to the remembrance and the realization of your true self. Okay, so having not thought about this before, if I'm going to say that we get resurrected, our resurrection is in death, in the opening of the door. That's really what I meant to say this morning. That's where I was headed this morning. That in the moment of your death, you are resurrected, returned to life, true life, abundant life, awaiting life. My resurrection comes at my death. Can't wait. Guess I'm going to have to. Oh, well. Peter, could you talk more about the first paragraph on page 46 of your Mary Magdalene book, The Savior Answered? Oh, yeah, I will be talking about that, Tim. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm not quite ready to talk about that yet. The way I've decided to approach the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, because this is a new gospel for me, okay? I've read this, but I haven't ever really picked it apart and done comparison with it. So my plan is this, Tim. I'm going to come to page 46, in the first paragraph on page 46. Oh, let me see. Now I think I understand what you're saying. Let's take a pop of the glasses here. I misunderstood you, but I do have a plan for approaching the Gospel of Mary. That is to do comparatives through other Gospels. So I look at this. I have that one circled. I do. The first paragraph, page 46. All of nature with its forms and creatures exist together and are interwoven with each other. I'm definitely going to be talking about that. That is coming up for sure. Promise. I will definitely talk about that. Andrew, but I'm going to do it in the context probably of Thomas. And so I'm going to focus on Thomas. I'm going to backpedal into the other four Gospels that are canonical. And then I'm going to stretch into the Gospel of Mary, sort of in a collective sort of way to give us I find that as a way to approach new spiritual information is in the context of what you already know, of your cultural and scholastic context provides you a base for learning. So like if I'm learning Spanish, then it helps me to know like, oh, that's the Spanish word. This is the word in English. Hello, hola. Oh yeah, English. I get to, okay. Hola is hello. Scholarship kind of works that way too. It's easier to have a reference point. So I will be getting to that for sure. I need to read the Gospel of Thomas and Mary. I haven't read them yet. You can find them online. There's a link below, Andrew, definitely for Mary. I should have put the Thomas in there too, but I didn't, I don't think. But search around on the web. You can find it. And this thing you should know about Thomas, and I'll be covering a little bit of this next week, I think, that there are two parts to Thomas, right? There's the Coptic. Coptic is a language, okay? There's the Coptic version, which is the one that's published, okay? It's the one that everybody has and everybody works from. It was found in the Nag Hammadi texts, and this is like in the 1940s. But in the 1890s, and I can't pronounce this name. I'll have the pronunciation for you next week. But in a particular place in northern Egypt in the 1890s, a huge trove of papyri fragments were discovered, hundreds of thousands of them. So many of them that they're still being translated and still being published. And among those are the Gospel of Mary in fragment. There are fragments from the Gospel of Mary and the Gospel of Thomas. Yes. And I'm going to examine that a little bit more next week, because this fragment added to the Coptic makes next week's topic completely understandable. And you will see why. So that's kind of what scholarship does. You look around. Thanks. This really lit your wick, Sandy. Nice. I got a wick burning over there today. I love that. This lit my wick. Cool. Thank you. You're welcome, Chris. Happy Easter, everybody, says Sarah. Francoise just got in. Happy Easter. Glad you're here, Francoise. Just Janine, happy Easter, everybody. And I'm going to say thank you, Laura, Rebecca, Logan, and Justine, for your super chats, and Mary too. Let's see. Totally mystical, says Just Jean. I hope I'm saying that right. William, happy Passover, Reverend. So today it's Passover, it's Western Easter, and it's Ramadan. So mash. So, my Facebook page, that's Peter Panagore, MDiv, my professional, the professional page. I have liked a lot of things over the years, and one of the things that's falling into my feed right now on that page are all these Ramadan produced videos about love and beauty, love and kindness, charity and sharing. All of these Ramadan videos, and some of them have closed caption, not closed caption, but closed caption translations. And some of the storytelling can just be determined from the action and the video. But these Ramadan videos that are making it into my feed are full of the same message that I'm preaching. Love. And happy Passover, everybody. I think it's the 5,857th Passover, some number like that. Correct me. Might be 5,847. It's something like that. It's a lot of Passovers and a long line of Passoverness. It's very cool. Talk about a continuity in a community. Basilia, I don't think I will mind reincarnating. Life here is very hard on earth, but what an interesting experience to be alive through. I try to be grateful for what I have. Amen to that. Amen to that. And imagine that if people who become awakened and enlightened in this lifetime come back again to earth reincarnated, and they get to carry light with them. There's more light for everyone then. And the whole place gets happier and better. That's my fantasy anyway. It's my hope. It's my hope. Thank you for this wonderful time, Peter. You're welcome, Just. Happy Easter, Linda. Thanks for the flowers, Kathy. Just, Janine. There is a golden thread running through all the great religions. There is. They were all founded by mystics who had divine experiences directly with love abundant. There is a golden thread. In that regard, we've got about 10 minutes left here. In that regard, there's a golden rule in every major religion. Just saying. Ramadan lines up with Easter this year. It does, Casey. It does. As a former Catholic, it's hard to get away from the idea of sin and guilt, and I still wonder what happens to us sinners after death. Hey, EK, I'm one of them. I am a sinner. When I died the first time, I carried all the pain that I gave away in my life with me, and I experienced it from the interior point of view of the person that I gave it to, the people I gave it to, and I suffered for my sins. I judged myself as guilty, but only, here's the kicker and the hook, only in the presence of the divine love. I compared myself to infinite love and found myself wanting. But in the wanting, I found that the love was available to me for just looking at it. And all of my sinful nature all of my humanity, all of the pain I caused in my life was burned away, and the divine fire of purgative love was cleansed, was washed white by the blood of the Lamb. There's all these different metaphors I could use about how it just was vanished from me through no effort of my own, merely accepting the love that's offered. And not every NDE that I know went through a hell. You may not go through a hell. My Catholic Orthodox upbringing may have influenced my near-death experience. Didn't seem to influence my early experience with Ganesh when I was a child. But so, fear not, my friend. Aim for the light and trust the love, and all was, is, and will be well. Eternally, I promise you. 10 million near-death experiencers promise you the same. Love and light awaits, especially for the heart that turns to it here and now. Especially so. I worry about what's going on today. The weather is kind of foreboding. Ponder when the end might come. Well, Robert, humanity's end might come. But Earth's not going to end in time itself. It's not going to end anytime soon. The universe is not going to end anytime soon. Our end, yours and mine and everyone's, is always imminent in the death that awaits us. But humanity, we may snuff ourselves out. We may either snuff ourselves out, or some errant asteroid that slams the size of Manhattan into Chicago might obliterate. Who knows? I don't. I'm not worried about the end times. I'm worried about the living humans and the bringing of the light. I'm not worried about the end times because I can't control any of that. I can control the light that comes inside of me. I can, by opening the gate more and more. That's how I control it. I get out of the way. I think cataclysm is coming. I think science shows the truth of climate change. And humanity's inhumanity. And right now we teeter on the edge of tactical nuclear weapon use. Airborne radiation. And 1 minute closer to doomsday clock bomb. Mutual assured destruction kind of thermonuclear hell. God forbid. May light prevail. May the nations of light prevail. May the hearts of light prevail. I have a lot of hope. And my hope isn't in the nature of humanity. It's in the goodness of the heart that precedes our humanity. It's in the tens of millions of near-death experiencers giving voice to this divine presence that allows the 20 and 100 millions of mystical experiencers the courage to speak up about the light that lives inside them. Anyway, was the hell you went through during the Black Void? No, it was its own thing. I was contained inside an angel of light. And it was my entry into heaven. And I do it again. I wait for it. I expect it. I even want it. I want to be able to go through the fiery sword to end up in beauty, the realm of beauty. Fear not. Good point to focus on the living humans by opening our love gate rather than focus on whether or not the apocalypse is coming. Instead of focusing on the apocalypse. Humanity is one of, 9 hominids? And we're the one who survived so far. We're babies on Earth. Do we survive or do we destroy ourselves? I don't know. But I know you can't kill me. You can't kill me. or anyone else, really. Everyone's made of this goodness with a capital G. Indestructible, eternal. After death, what if the loving divine says, I need you to return to earth to help it grow spiritually? Will any of us refuse? Asked Ken. No, I won't refuse. I'll come back, if asked, but I'll try to make a deal. Right on, Kendall. Good point, Kendall, Carmen and Tim say. Robert, if this physical reincarnation place no longer exists, then reincarnation cycle will not be a reality either. This is true. This is true. Not in this universe, anyway. But the universe is a big place. Very, very big. And eventually, maybe, according to Hinduism, according to some theories in physics, there will be a compression and an expansion again. Compression of a destruction of all the universe back into a single seed of energy, matter, whatever it is. I guess it's not matter, it's got to be energy. And then kapow, another universe. That's for sure. Well, that's for sure the theory and the mythology. But that's so big. That's so far from me. I'd rather focus on the light itself, the thing that I know, the thing I trust, the thing that is no thingness. I set my heart there and let the rest kind of take care of itself. Way too big for me. I'm just a little tiny guy. Celebrate the light. It banishes the darkness, says William. Celebrate the light. It banishes the darkness. Mm-hmm. Be the light, says Kathy. All right, my friends, thanks for coming this morning. I'm going to sign off now. I'll see you in 5 minutes. As soon as I leave, I'll pop open the Mystic Tea Salon. The link is below. I'll see you there in a couple of minutes. Peace and love to you all. Namaste. Happy Easter. To look at reincarnation while being in the struggle and ego versus perspectives of being in light and aware of being only love. Love will do the will of love and will be the one with it. Yes. Okay, on that note of love forever, peace to you all. Thank you, EK, Just, Kathy, Ludwig. Peace to you all. Namaste. See you soon.